Okay, welcome everyone to Jeroen's Games. I'm doing something new today. I love making landing pages for my favorite VTT Foundry, and a while ago I made a landing page for Invincible RPG, and I got a lot of questions on both the Reddit and the Discord, like, hey, can you explain, do a deep dive on how you made this? So that's what I'm doing today. I hope you enjoy it. I'm not a professional. If you look at my channel, I only got a few subscribers, so I'm not that professional figuring out how to record these things and such over the last few weeks and months. But I hope you enjoy it, and if you like it, like and subscribe, like most people say. Yeah, without further ado, let's go into it. I'll first show my 3 scenes, and then I'll go back, and then one by one I will go over it. So this is the landing page where everyone starts, and at the beginning of the game I activate my intro. Welcome to Invincible, I say, before we actually go to the actual landing page and surprise our players. And this is what I'm gonna explain to you guys step by step on how I made this. So I made this using a lot of my both things from Foundry itself, basic functionality, but also some of my favorite modules. So let's go over this step by step. This is of course a very simple scene. This is just a black scene with letters, just like the show starts. If you know that Invincible show, it has a really short introduction text. I was like, hey, that's maybe fun to start the game with. This is nothing else than black, and with the drawing tools I have some text added to it. What is, however, special is that normally you can drag around the background, the scene, but I locked that, and that is with one of my favorite modules called Lock View. In Lock View you can configure here certain things that are locked, and in this case I locked both the pen lock and the zoom lock, and I also set the auto scale automatic fit inside. What does that mean? You cannot use the scroll wheel to zoom in and out, you cannot pan the scene, and also the scene is set automatically. I put this in, scale this scene automatically with the correct zoom level, so everything is fit inside the browser. I usually use mostly automatic fit inside. Sometimes I use bounding box, and rarely, only for really specific scenes, I use the locks. The next scene is the introduction. So this is a little movie clip I cut from I got from the Invincible show and converted that to a movie file that I just inserted as a tell. Again, I cannot zoom out, and it was set exactly to the right background, again using lock view, using the automatic scale and with the locks, just to get this introduction effect in your face, basically. What is special, however, a little bit is normally if you add a tell that is a movie clip to Foundry, then you can set it to autoplay. However, Foundry, since I think Corona times, one of the earlier, before, I think even before 1.0 or around the first version, they added like a workaround that if you add video clips to a scene, the starting frame is random. and that is because most common use case is using, for example, little fires for in dungeon hallways. And if you put a lot of the same video clips on your canvas, if they all start at the same time, browsers sometimes error out. So as a workaround, they that's how they implemented it, is that it starts with a random frame, with a random millisecond frame, however you set it, and you cannot change this by default in Foundry. So I think that's a loss. That's I would say a bug, but it's just functionality that no one's asking for, and it's been there since the beginning. You can work around this, however, with another nice module called Monk's Active Tile Triggers, or MAT with double T. And with MAT, for a lot of tiles, for all the tiles, you can, if you want, add triggers. It's very complex, so I'll only go into the one that I use, this one, and it's as complex as you get to know it and use it. But you can do a lot of stuff with it. I don't use it. I sometimes use it, but in this case, in my in this Invincible landing pages, I've only basically used it for this. Basically, I set a setup for the scene change. So that means at the moment that the scene is changed to this scene, something is happening. And what is then happening? The action. And the action is that I reset the animation. That means it goes back to the first frame and then it starts. And this way we make sure that the movie clip starts from the beginning, at the moment the scene is loaded. So that is how I do the movie, the movie frame, the movie clip. What is another one that is important? Normally over the internet, scenes are first loaded by a player on the player's web browser, and then it starts. And sometimes loading times are a little bit different within the browser, so then it already starts playing. Well, not everything is loaded, so to prevent that, you can either right click on a scene and for example tell all the players connected preload your scene. So then it's already loaded in the background. But another handy one is also to use another module, which is perfect also for superhero games, which is called Battle Transitions. You get another tab in the scene configuration, and basically what you can do is then it automatically it first loads the scene, and then it automatically sets a transition to it. And I will show you that with the next scene, which is my actual quote landing pages. So these were just the introduction. Here we go. Now you saw the diamond effect. The diamond effect is pretty cool. So here with the transition, I set it automatically trigger and then the diamond wipe. Again on this scene, I use not a lock. So because in this case I want the players like, okay, I want a little bit more freedom. I don't care that they cannot move things around. But I do set it to auto scale, so they get as much as possible within their view on the web browser. So what did I originally imagine with this scene? What I wanted to do is have comic borders, like a comic book. And then why did I want that? To be able to randomly, if I have multiple sessions, just change an image here on the top right, or here, and change the text. And of course you can also do this in Photoshop. That's a lot easier. But because I didn't want to open Photoshop every time I have a new game, I created these borders within Foundry, which isn't even that hard. It just it takes a little bit of time to set up. But yeah, likely as much time as you would in an art program. So these are all done using the drawing tools, and in the drawing tools, so do I say I say that, but the white borders I did in via tiles, just like the background art is also tiles. So you see I can move this around. Ctrl Z works in Foundry, that's great. So all the images are of course tiles, and the white ones are also tiles. And in Foundry you have here a button in the tile controls for O for the foreground layer. It's a little bit higher, quote quote, if you imagine depth. And here I added just a tile that's a small tile with so a square white image. I also have like a transparent image or a black one if I use that for certain things. But then you can just drag, you can increase the size easily and position it exactly where you want. So these are all just white tiles that I dragged across the screen, and below that, so not in the foreground layer but in the normal layer, are the images. You see, and here as well. Hey, but what did I do here? So here I did text with a normal text box. So this is done using the drawing tools. Again, I wanted to be able to quickly change to a different text. So let's call Adam Eve. And be able to change it like that. And I also, like, if you looked in the Invincible games, I really wanted to, or Invincible comics, I really wanted to do the black borders, but also with the white, like that the speech bubbles are part of the white border basically. And that is so the black borders in this case are all just black drawings, so a square rectangle drawings that have a line, a black line without a fill, and I lock them. In some cases you can lock them so you cannot drag them. And these ones, the speech bubbles, are also fills, but they are just ellipses with a text in it, and then I put them on top on top of the black borderline. So this is how that is done. A little bit like the first time you set it up, it takes a bit of time, but after that it's easier than switching things in Photoshop. What is important? One of the modules I like, because with text you can change a lot of things. But the font. So sorry, I was like thinking, okay, what do I say? Fonts are important for games, to get a feeling, to get an emotion. So you have an emotion if you read a role-playing game book. You associate the font use to the game. So what I usually do is I look up the font that the role-playing game uses, or find similar fonts that are suitable, and then I use an online converter to convert them to WOFF files. So that's a WOFF. And once you have them and you upload them to your Foundry folder, data folder, in the settings, core settings, you can configure additional fonts. And here you see I've configured like Comic Relief, Anime, Ace, Invulnerable. So multiple fonts that I thought like, hey, these are typical comic book fonts. so I can use them in my scenes and in my journals. But not just that, because you also see them here in the token names. You see? This is done. The token name font is a module called custom nameplates, and with that you can change the font that is used for the tokens, which I think is really cool. Great module. I hope it will keep getting support. Next thing, walls. Walls and lights are really great tools to get flavor, to get an effect. As you can see on this scene, here on the top right, there's the sunshine, and here in the main image, this is an image that I grabbed from the Kickstarter. You see like a special glowy effect, and that I just did with lights. So I'll show you. There's two lights on this scene here. This is the energy field, and I slowed the animation type down a little bit, and I used a little bit more yellower color, the same yellow as the Invincible logo, just to try to use as many colors. Similar colors are used are in the image, but this gives a really slow but subtle effect to this. And here the sun is a starlight, and I slow down the animation speed so you get this cinematic sun camera effect. And then with walls, you can create a wall around that. In this case it doesn't matter, you can create a normal wall, but I mainly the light, most important thing is that the light is on normal. The other ones don't matter in this case. Oh, oops. There we go. So that's the lighting effects. Then we go to the bottom. The players. Of course, what is a landing page if you cannot double click on your own token and open your own character sheet? And I set all players so they can look at each other. They have rights to see each other's sheet, but only have full rights on their own. But yeah, these are just tokens. So what I did, normally if you drag a token, so these are tokens that are set normally for most games have a round token. But what is amazingly cool is if you create a token that is a full body image and transparent. Because not only can you create really cool tokens like this, which is also really handy if you have a cinematic backdrop scene, you can just drag these drag your characters in, or if you use the theater inserts module, I can show you that. So for example, if Adam, Eve and Bulletproof are talking to each other, then I can put these two on the screen while the players are talking, and then they get a little bit of a sense, hey, that's me, I'm talking. So this adds more immersion into the virtual tabletop game. Everyone knows you're also on the computer, so it's already hard enough to keep players' attention, and I think Foundry can definitely help with the theater inserts module to keep that attention, which is pretty cool. I just changed that to an image here in the image path of the token, to one that is transparent, and increase the dimensions so it's tall instead of square. I chose the display name to always for everyone. So this is how the name gets on here on the bottom. And I added a border around these that stop token movement. So the most important here is that it stops the movement. And why is that important? Is so the player that is, for example, Adam Eve's player, they cannot drag it around too much. You can. Another trick is to make the borders even smaller, and in that case they cannot move it at all. But I wanted to give them a little bit freedom if they wanted to do it anyway. I must say, you can also do this effect differently using, for example, mat. So what I said before, the Monk's active tel triggers module, but then you need to create a button then with a hover over effect. So it's a bit more steps, more involved, and yeah. Why sometimes I like, okay, why do that if you can just use a token? Yeah, it's a bit more complex via mat, but everyone has their preferences. So the next thing is, hey, these guys are flying. So this is done with another module called Token Magix FX. And you can add a lot of so Token Magix FX adds a compendium with a lot of different effects that you can add to tokens or images or tiles, and yeah, you can customize these. There's a wiki on the homepage of Token Magix, on the GitHub of Token Magix, so you can look at all the how every effect looks. But for example, to give you an example, the flying effect is I made. You can drag it from the compendium to your bar, and then I use this. It's there's a flying effect, and then I added it a little bit. I added the values a bit, so they fly around. They seem to be flying around. Same with so I wanted to give Monster Girl a special effect as well. And with Monster Girl I added like a drop shadow, because hey, the emotional of the monster behind behind the girl, to add that shadow. Yeah, you see a little bit of a shadow behind her, and of course Rexplode needed to glow, so I added a glow effect as well. I can show these on the screen, and if you really want to copy paste, you can pause the video. But yeah, again, these are basically the default ones with a few things changed from the Token Magix FX module. Then you see some more effects behind them. So these are all either from the JB2A module, which is an animation effects module, and there's also another one that you can find in the Foundry module repository, which is called Jack Kerouac's animated spell effects cartoon version. So these are just tiles that are put in the back, a little bit of here, special effect behind. Behind them, so yeah, I can show. So it's here. This is one from the JB2A Patreon. Yeah, so this is my Invincible landing page. I hope you like it. Some other modules I really want to call out. So I already told you theater inserts. So what if you watched my Let's Play, which I recommend you do, from the Invincible game, was amazing to run, but also amazing as my one of my first Let's Plays that I recorded. For example, I added like a, I think I have it still here. For example, here the machine head here, I when they were talking and machine head was talking, I added machine head an isotope to the stage when they were talking, and it just adds so much immersion when you talk. And then Monster Girl stepped up and was speaking, so I then I added her as well to the stage, so all players could see this happening. It was really cool. I really theater inserts if you like narrative games as well. Some people say like, okay, you don't for narrative games you don't need VTT as heavy, quote as Foundry, but this, as I think it adds a lot of flavor. Yeah, of course it's not you need to get used to any module and any functionality, but I think it's pretty cool. Let me remove these. Another great module that I want to shout out is Gambit's FXMaster module. It's not used on this landing page, but it just adds so much special effects you can add to a scene, like snow, fog, or embers or stars. I often use for my scenes. Yeah. Last thing I think I customized in this game is the logo. It's my main disturbance if a system doesn't have a cool pause image. I edit it myself always using a custom CSS. Let me know in the comments if you like a video on how to do that. It's a little bit more involved, but yeah, happy to share. Hope you like it, and I'll see you guys next time. Check out my Let's Plays and other landing pages, and yeah, I will try to share now and then some things on my really small YouTube. Okay, cheers, bye bye.